So the information that we need in order to calculate PAYE, does anybody know what sort of information we'd need? We'd need the employee's tax code, the emergency tax code for the current year, whether or not it's based on accumulative or non-accumulative, the tax thresholds, the tax bands, the pay frequency, the payment date, the employee's pay for the relevant period, the employee's taxable pay to date if a mid-year calculation, and also the tax paid to date if it's a mid-year calculation, and any tax not previously deducted by the regulatory limit. Then we'd do the calculation. So there's quite a lot of information that you need in order to pay somebody. It's just not a matter of taking somebody's pay and saying, well, here you go. There's a lot of things to consider. So let's go a little bit more in depth with tax codes and the differences. There are two different ways a tax code can present itself. You have a suffix where the letter comes after the numbers, and that's usually most common way that you would have a tax code present itself. A prefix is where the letter comes before the numbers, and I'll go into that in a bit more detail. Unless you're a Scottish taxpayer and this has been changed for this year, and you now have an S at the beginning of the tax code followed by a letter at the end of the tax code. Okay, so therefore an employee can earn 11,000 this tax year. So that means a normal employee, their tax code would become 1100L. If a tax code is different to 1100L, there could be various factors. The employee could have another source of income, or they could have taxable benefits from the employer, and this all reduces your tax code. You must never change a tax code unless you receive notification from HMRC. Does anybody know what the notifications are called? They're P6s or P9s, depending on what time of the tax year it is. If it's a K code, where the letter comes before the numbers, this usually means they're a higher rate taxpayer, and they could be receipt in a lot of benefits, so therefore all their allowances have disappeared, and then it then becomes additional. So if somebody was on a K9, they would have the 9 part of the element added on to their tax calculation instead of taken off like you would conventionally. There are a couple more tax codes you need to be aware of, which is BR and 0T. And both of those operate at 20% tax from every pound earned. So you've got no allowances whatsoever, even if you only earn £1.